Hi there, Jonathan back once again, and today we're going to have a look at what happened during the course of May. So a bit of a quick roundup of where we're at and then where we're at on this journey, and then also some results of the split tests and the new ads that I've been running as well. So it's the 2nd of June, it's about 3:30 in the afternoon, day 274 of this 365-day journey. So we're just in the beginning of our last 3 months now. So definitely the race is on to try and see if we can hit these targets. So what I want to have a look at is the detail of that dashboard. Just before I do that is a quick catch up of where we're at. We've seen some good results over the last 4 or 5 days. Yesterday really sort of came in well at $897. I'm bearing in mind that my ad spend is about $300. So for every $300 I spent yesterday, I got $600 back in profit. So that's been performing really well, and I think these new changes I've made have really contributed to that. But anyway, so the other thing was, just before we leave this is where we're at, 393 today, say at 3:30. So chances are maybe end up around 600, something like that. Anything above that would be excellent, but we'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's have a look at really what's happened in the month. So this is my usual spreadsheet where I try and pull everything together, or the key metrics that I'm looking at. You can see here, this is my sales target, and this is my profit target. As I said probably last month, these were sort of arbitrary figures in a way. 240,000 just seemed like an easy one to work out. If I managed to get 20,000 a month over a year, I'd had 240,000, and if I did 10,000 profit a month, I'd end up with 120,000. So they were ambitious targets at the time, but that's what it's all about. That's what targets are for. So anyway, where we're at after 9 months on this. So our sales today are 195,000. Our target, if I was following that even trajectory, would be 180. So overall, we're 15,000 ahead on a month-by-month basis, which is good. So we like to be a little bit ahead of things. You never know what's coming around the corner, so that's good. But then we move on to the profit side. Now, profit to date is just short of 67,000. If we were tracking, we should be more like 90,000. So we're 23,000 adrift there. So that's a big drop off. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to catch up that really in 3 months. I think probably pretty much impossible really. But we're going to try and see how close we can get to it. But it will mean doing some extra work and actually pushing our budgets a little bit harder. But obviously, the main thing really is this numbers here. If we move down here, it was looking at how our profits have been tracking. So, the very first month we started this last September, we had a really good percentage profit. We saw it then drift down and then up and then hit a bad one in March. That's when I had all the problems with Meta and the ads and everything. So I had to, from there, pull all the way back and pretty much really start the campaigns again. But anyway, we've seen an increase in April, and another small increase from 35 to 38%. So probably a 10% uplift in profit from April to May, which is all good. So if I have a look at a bit more of the detail compared to April, we can see actually very similar number of leads, 367, 366, one extra lead different. In terms of customers, we got a few extra customers this month. Spend was very, very similar across the two. Front-end sales, we generated more in the way of front-end sales and definitely more in the way of front-end profit. Our cost per acquisition was down very slightly. I'd like to see this getting down even further so we can open up the margin even further still. But We've also seen our average order value going from 42.61 to 44.76, which is good. Our total sales are up a bit. Back-end sales, very, very similar. So our overall profit figure from last month from 4.7 to 5.5. And the final figure is our 60-day sort of revenue average. So each customer is currently worth about $73. So that's all good, and that's really the snapshot where we're at. But that's very much a case of looking backwards, and it's useful to get a sense of, are we tracking? And the other thing is our increase in revenue being tracked by an increase in profit. So we are still tracking and seeing some upward movement now. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of months, 3 months. If I start to push our ad budget up, will our profits track in line with that? Only time will tell. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to also share with you. Yes, what we've been doing, I set this ads test off about 6 days ago. What was it, 269 to 5 days ago, into the 6th day. And I was testing two things. Firstly, some new ads using some fresh creative. Just using static image ads seem to be working very well at the moment. But we've got the new copy. We've got the Mylin Method first introduced here. So right at the ads level, we start talking about that Mylin Method, which then carries through to the main offer page. And I've also now carried it through to the upsell. So this is what I was doing. I was split testing a new upsell page, one versus the control page that I had for ages. But this one, I wanted to try and align it again to something that they'd already bought, trying to get this congruency and flow of message from the offer page through to the upsell. So the upsell isn't a completely disconnected thing. So, what we've seen there is that increase in that side of things. So actually that's the whole of May, but more interesting, this was probably the last 6 days or so. What we've seen in the last 6-7 days, the average cart value going up to 53. So if you look at the overall whole of May, we're at 44, 45 nearly. And now we're at 53 in the last week, which is a really good jump. And if actually we look at it, one of the things that's really come into play is this new upsell page. So this is my control one that I've been running with the same for a while, and this is this new Mylin one. And obviously we can see a big jump there in terms of conversions. So almost a 50% uplift between those two. So that is really encouraging. Now, some of that is going to be down to our Facebook putting my ads in front of a better quality, potentially higher value audience, which has increased the conversions. But when it comes to the upsell, it's very much based on the fact that, the whole of last month, my conversion rate was about 3%. That stayed fairly static. So it really is, what's the difference between these two landing pages, upsell pages? I mean, tell this new one is coming through a lot better. Still very early days because it's only based over 10 sales. And when it comes to upsell pages, you're going to have to let them run longer, because obviously it's only people who even buy your front end offer even get to see the upsell. But so far that is very encouraging. Also, what we've seen on the ads side of things, here's our new ads, our Mylin Method. You see I've done 5, 1, 2, I've created four new ads, and this is based over the last 7 days, and we can see here the cost per purchase on these is now considerably lower than it was. Actually, if we just look at what the last 30 days was, cost per purchase was at about £14.43 versus the last 7 days is £10.12. So it's a big drop. And again, you know, it's down to, is Facebook putting it in front of the right audience, and partly down to, is the ad doing a better job. So that's why we need to keep putting new creative out there, keep getting that refreshed, so it gets in front of some of the same people, but some new people as well. So overall, pretty good to see these results coming in May. So now what I've done, I've literally just today upped my ad budget by another 10%. So I'm now at £250 a day, but I'm really probably going to need to get this more like around £300 a day. You know, when I was back doing these numbers of about 25,000 in sales, I was at £500 a day in ads. So we're only at half that point right now. But what I want to see is, can I squeeze more profit out of a smaller ad spend? So that's going to be the challenge as we work through June, and I'll keep you posted on the new experiments we're running, new tests, and the results that we're getting. As usual, got any questions, just let me know. Okay, bye for now.